Wait, what is Captain America doing here, and why does he look so different? Join me this week as I provide some lessons we learned and give you our favorite thrills and chills at Universal's Islands of Adventure. Welcome to Roaming Yeti's Travel Beyond the Guidebook, where we help our busy fellow adventurers maximize their limited vacation time. I'm your host and head Yeti, Beth Scalacci. I'm here to share stories, hidden gems, and insider tips to help you plan trips that are unique and meaningful to you. In each episode, I delve into the world of pop culture destinations, theme parks, roadside attractions, and nostalgic locations. And you know what? We're uncovering their secrets and backstories. Are you ready? Let's roam! Welcome back. In this episode, I'm discussing our December trip to Universal Studios Islands of Adventure in Orlando. My goal, as always, is to give you enough information to know if Universal sounds like the right place for you to spend your valuable vacation days, as well as share some things we learned, including any mistakes we made. In case you missed the last episode, I talked about how I have issues with motion sickness. Probably too much. Sorry about that. So when John hits the thrill rides, I find something to do that is much more chill. So I thought I would put together these theme park episodes to highlight John's thrills and my chills. I truly believe theme parks have something for everyone. So let's explore Universal's Islands of Adventure. Universal's Islands of Adventures opened on May 28, 1999, as part of an expansion that converted Universal Studios Florida into Universal Orlando Resort. The park was designed to be a journey of exploration where guests could embark on an adventure to visit various themed islands. Islands of Adventure introduced a unique concept where the park was divided into different islands, each with their own theme and attractions. And one of the most significant milestones in the park history was the opening of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter in 2010. This immersive land brought to life iconic locations from the Harry Potter series and became a massive success. That was the first part of Wizarding World. Diagon Alley was the second edition, and then I think in the new park it's going to be man, I totally blanked, but Fantastic Beast. Sorry about that. So in the last episode, if you haven't listened to it and you want to know about tickets, go back and listen to it. I went into detail about the tickets. I did some math. And so be sure to check that out to learn about what your options are for the tickets. See if it's worth staying on one of the higher end hotels. Personally, for us, we use the Express Unlimited passes that came with our hotel package, and they allow you to skip the line for every ride except for Hagrid's motorbike ride, which is in Islands of Adventure. And they allow you to use that Express pass an unlimited number of times on the ride. So if you become a big fan of the Hulk roller coaster, you can just ride that all day with the Express Unlimited pass. This was my first time in this park, in Islands of Adventure, ever. And I have to say, I was really excited because I love this idea of the 8 islands. And honestly, the theming, each one was really cool. They're a movie studio. They go all out. They look great. But some things just really felt sort of dated and in need of a refresh. And I'll get to that. But I say this because Universal's adding a whole new third park. So I don't know what that's going to mean for some of the islands here on Islands Adventure. You'll understand more as I go along. But there's also a lot of thrill rides in this park. There wasn't a ton for me to ride. I think I rode one thing in Seuss Land. But the theming, the stuff to watch and look at and experience, like it really didn't bother me. But there's a lot of thrill rides for sure. I don't know. I feel like it might be time to invest in one of those relief bands so I stop missing out on the fun. If you have one, if you've ever used one of those relief bands, please let me know if they work and how they work. They're an investment. I want to try it, but if it's not worth it. Anyway, I digress. Sorry again. Anyway, let's walk around the park, check out each island and what's located there. So the port of entry is exactly that. It's your port of entry into the park. It's really cool looking. It's, we went in December. I went again in January as part of a conference experience. I was at a conference, and so I was in there with a group of people who had never been in January, had never been in there. And we walk into the port of entry and they're like, Beth, what movie is this from? And I'm like, what? And they're like, what movie is this from? I was like, it's not. They just, like, this is their island. They built this. And that's how sort of cool and themed and very cohesive it looks. That people are trying to figure out what it's from, but really there isn't one. This is where your stores and your restaurants are, as you walk through. Most importantly, this is where your Starbucks is for this park. If you are entering in the morning and have not had your cup of coffee yet, or you need multiple cups, you will want to stop here before adventuring elsewhere. Why am I saying this? Why am I very adamant about saying this? This was my mistake. John and Julia had headed to the park for early hours access because they wanted to get in line for Hagrid's Magical Creatures motorbike adventure. I was like, go ahead. I'll come along because you'll be in line for like an hour. So I'll come along later. So I walked over to the park, went by Starbucks, got to Seuss Landing, and I saw like a coffee maker thing, one of those big urns. I'm like, you know what? I don't need a fancy latte today. I'll just go get coffee. Yeah, mistake. Big mistake. It was so strong. Like no amount of sugar could have helped it. It was rough. I did not finish it. I went to Starbucks. So take my advice, grab your coffee at your hotel, in City Walk, or at the Starbucks in Port of Entry. Lesson learned. So as you leave Port of Entry and you're rolling into Seuss Landing, it's themed just as you would imagine it. It's so over the top. It's so fun. It feels like you walked into the picture book, the characters, the landscape, the buildings, all out of the books. And the rides here are mainly for kids, but us big kids can ride and explore the island as well. There's a Cat in the Hat dark ride there that's based on the story in the book. There's the High in the Sky Seuss trolley train. It's an elevated train. That's the one thing I rode in Islands of Adventure. There is the Caro Seuss L. It's a carousel with Seuss characters. I'm telling you, studios and their ride names and my tongue are just, they are tongue twisters. There is a 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish ride, similar to the Dumbo ride at Disney, and with a water feature. So keep that in mind. Leaving Seuss Landing, you roll into the Lost Continent, and this island is gorgeous. Stonework and fountains honoring ancient myths, but there's nothing in there right now other than food and shopping. The Lost Continent is themed to 2 subsections. There's an Arabian market called Sinbad's Bazaar and a Grecian Atlantis-esque lost city. Like I said, there's no attractions. They had just closed one, I think last year, the last one there. There is a restaurant called Mythos. It's the only sit-down restaurant in the park. And apparently it's award-winning. So, when you're checking the menus, because we've learned that lesson, right? Check menus before you go. Check the menu, and if it looks good, like get a reservation or check it out. So, it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, happens over there. From as you're rolling around, you enter the most crowded part of the park where and I say this with love, where people are wearing robes and running around with wands. It's so much fun to watch kids and adults in the Wizarding world. Um, it's based on Hogsmeade. It's similar to Diagon Alley in that the creative team just knocked this thing out of the park. Places in the books and the movies that come alive right in front of you. Like I said, you can buy wands and the robes, and there's interaction where you can do spells, and there's stuff that happens in the windows, and it's such a joy to like just sort of hang out and watch people just enjoy their fandom so much. It's not. I'm always on the let people love what they love kind of thing, and it's fun to watch. And it's hard not to get caught up, but I was not gonna buy a $75 wand for the day. But I did have my first hot butterbeer. Okay, that one's my favorite. Definitely hot. I am team hot butterbeer. Thankfully, it was a chilly December and not in the middle of summer, but it was very good. The rides here are the Flight of the Hippogriff, which is a family-friendly roller coaster. Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, which I think is also trademark, so TM. Roller coaster where the vehicle is a motorbike with a sidecar. Everyone loves that one. There's also a motion simulator, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Now, I am told that the queue for this one is amazing and very detailed. So you can go through the queue and experience the queue. So basically you're standing in the long line to get on the ride, but then you don't have to get on the ride. You just look for an employee, and they'll, a team member will escort you to sort of the leaving door, exit door. You know what I mean? So, it's definitely something. If you want to check out the queue, you're a huge fan, but maybe not the ride. Go do that. Again, Hogwarts Express takes you between the two parks. It was closed, so did not get to experience that. Just another reason for me to go back, right? As you leave Hogsmeade, you enter Jurassic Park. The entrance to this island looks just like the big gate from the movie, featured in the movie. The theming is really good. The one thing I almost wish they did, and maybe they did and I couldn't hear it, is I feel like if you could have just heard like brushing of the bushes or like noises on the other side that like made you think dinosaurs were over there, I think it'd be really cool. One of my favorite features, though, again, a sign that Universal is Disney's cheeky younger sibling, is that when Velocicoaster started being built, people were like, what's going on? What are you guys doing over there? And they're like, oh, we're building a churro cart. Fast forward to today, there's a churro cart in Jurassic Park area of the park. So I love that. Like, I love sort of adopting the joke. The rides here, there's a pterodon flyer. You need kids to ride this. It's sort of this cool looking swing off the ground thing. It's hard. It's almost like a zip line, but you're on a swing, but you have to have a kid with you. So we were, and a younger kid, we were out of luck. The Jurassic Park River Adventure. Think one of these big log flume rides, going through looking at dinosaurs, really cool, fun. And then the Jurassic World Velocicoaster. This thing is insane looking, twists, turns, flips. It's a favorite among the roller coaster crowd. No, thank you, not for me. Then you walk into actually the next two islands. I have questions. Skull Island, Reign of Kong. This island, it looks so cool, but there's one thing in it. There's just the trackless 3D dark ride, Reign of Kong. That's it. The facade, the outside it's so cool looking, but I don't know. I mean, obviously it doesn't fit in Jurassic Park, and it doesn't fit in the one beyond it, which is Toon Lagoon. So I don't know if something will be added or what, but again, it looks really cool. It just was sort of one of those things. There's not a restaurant or I don't know, but it's a cool, supposed to be a good ride, and it looks great. Um, and then you enter Toon Lagoon. So let me jog memories here. See, let's see how old we all are. Do you remember Broomhilda, Betty Boop, Dudley Do Right? Well, you can find all these comic strip friends and more at Toon Lagoon. I mean, blast from the past. It was like, it was so really strange walking in and seeing these. Like, and it just felt really outdated. Of course, Julia had no idea really who these characters were. Um, I I don't know. There's 2 water rides here. Both will get you very wet. One's a log, like sort of a traditional log flume, and then one is one of those raft rides, rapid raft rides. Um, I don't know. Maybe I would have put Minion Land here, but I'm sure there's ideas and thoughts behind it. I don't know. Um, I would love to know the story there, but it feel, Blondie, Dagwood, like Kathy, like it was cool because I grew up with these comic strips, but it felt like maybe it was time to retire some of those. I don't know. Um, and then next up is Marvel Superhero Island. And you're saying, wait, what's Marvel doing at Universal? It's Disney, right? Disney owns it. Well, there's a legal contract. I'm not going to get into the details. I'm not going to bore you with that. But basically, Universal has the rights to use Marvel Comics characters in the park. And it's also the reason you won't see some Marvel characters in Disney parks in Florida. So you can go look it up if you want all the details, but just know Marvel comic book type characters are in Universal. So once you sort of wrap your head around that fact and know that like this is not MCU Marvel, you really start enjoying sort of the campy details of it. It looks like you walked into a comic book. Yeah, the stores are full of MCU Marvel merch, but outside it's definitely the comics based characters. Once you know that, when you see Captain America walking in a costume that you're like, that doesn't look great. It's more comic accurate, but it's fun. The characters, they know they know what's going on. And you see other characters, some of the X-Men and stuff. So it's a fun area. The rides here, there's Doom's Fearfall, which reminds me of those carnival rides that you sit in the chair and it shoots you up and then drops you down. There's the Incredible Hulk coaster. Again, another big roller coaster. You can't even take your phone on this one. Like, you have to leave a bag, but you have to leave your phone in a locker or with a loved one because there's so many twists on this one. There's a 3D motion simulator called Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. And then there's a Storm Force Accelatron, which is sort of like a teacup style ride that spins you around. So again, I went to my thrill ride experts, and they said the top thrills are Velocicoaster, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, the Incredible Hulk Coaster, and then they added here a sleeper hit for me, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. They loved that. They thought it was a lot of fun. They weren't expecting it. They had a great time. As far as my top chills, this park is made for thrills. I'm not gonna lie. This is a thrill ride kind of park, but I definitely did find some chills. Get a butterbeer. There's other specialty drinks in Hogsmeade. The shopping in there and the details are amazing. Like I said, watching people do the wands. If you're if Harry Potter's your thing and you're going to be at Universal a few times, get a wand and do the interaction. It's really cool looking. It was fun. Marvel Superhero Island was great because I am a big Marvel fan. I'm more movie Marvel fan, but it was fun just to see the differences in the characters. costumes, how they're presented, ones you would see, you would not see in Adventures Campus like X-Men, at least not yet. There's a lot of details built into the facades and the sets. I might actually do some Easter egg episodes because there were some fun ones to share. If you have people on the Velocicoaster, there's a great bridge that, comes that's near there, and it has such a cool view of the park. You can almost see all 8 islands. Great for pictures and just sort of relaxing and taking in all the fun. Eating wise, I already told you my coffee mistake. And in the last episode, I can confess to my rookie mistake of not researching menus before I went. So if you missed that, you have to go listen to that one. But for a late lunch, we headed out to City Walk. We went out to the area and decided to get a sit-down meal there. We went to a place called Cowfish, which, hang with me here, has burger. It sort of specializes in burgers and sushi. I had seen it recommended, so we gave it a try. It was good. It was a great, break from the parks. I actually had a salad. I was just really sort of craving a salad at that point. So it was just I always like a nice break. If I can get out of a park for a little bit and sit down and have a bite to eat, it's good. We also found out too late that there was this really great cafe in our hotel lobby that had really good breakfast options and Starbucks coffee, which would have alleviated my coffee mistake. So if you're staying on resort, check out what your sort of breakfast options are and consider eating breakfast in your hotel before heading to the park. There are a lot of options for food, but sometimes, it can be overwhelming. So do your research ahead of time and just have a few options in mind before you get into the park. I want to again leave you with a few tips to consider. I mentioned these in the last episode, but they bear repeating. If staying on resort, we could not use our credit card that was linked to our park pass the day we checked in. So if when you go in a hotel, you'll give a credit card. They'll say, oh, you can just use your park pass. Don't leave your credit card then in your hotel room. Please take it with you because the park pass won't work check-in day. It also will not work on check-out day. I'm not sure what the breakdown is, but the people in the park are used to it and they handle it with a lot of grace. Some rides have single rider lines, so keep an eye out for those. And if you don't mind splitting up to ride something or you're the only one, be sure you check those out. And many of the rides will not allow you to take your bag on with you. So there are lockers that are available for smaller bags, purses, a coat, small crossover bags, and those are free. But if you have like a big backpack, it's $2 for the larger lockers, and that's $2 per ride, not per day. So just keep that in mind, and sort of accordingly what you're going to take to the park that day. So I'm going to ask you now, you've heard all this. Does Universal's Islands of Adventures go on your to visit site, or are you giving it a pass? Let me know. I'm always curious what people think. So I hope these episodes do inspire you to get out there and roam and use those vacation days to your fullest. Please follow or subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. And if you like what we're doing here, tell a friend and please leave a rating and a review. You can also follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Just search for The Roaming Yeti. Talk to you soon and keep roaming.